Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the New Orleans Saints get their victory over the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 27-13. And needless to say, that the Saints looking like a mash unit right now. I mean, so many injuries happened in this game, and nonetheless, the Saints still get the victory. It wasn't pretty, wasn't the best outing. It was sloppy, but a win is a win. And I guess if you look at all the things that transpired in the course of this game, you're just glad to get the win. You know, just glad to get the heck up out of there with the dub. The New Orleans Saints, Alvin Kamara did an outstanding job, had 3 touchdowns today. Offensively, this wasn't the Saints' best outing. There was an APB out for Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas in this game. And Jared Cook, he didn't play well at all. But, I mean, you can't say it's because Drew Brees left the game. Of course, we already know. We're going to get into that in a minute. But the defense has been a story of this game. The defense played really well from David Onyemata, who was getting penetration up the A-gap, from Demario Davis flying all around the field, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Patrick Robinson coming in with the late game heroics. I mean, these guys were balling, man. And even like Marcus Williams, man, all the Marcus Williams people out there that, they've been talking about Marcus Williams. This has been a really good game for him. All in all, man, everybody defensively, I don't have any complaints about that. I mean, you can kind of talk about, them not getting pressure or getting a sack or, enough sacks. But that is a good offensive line by the San Francisco 49ers. But the storyline is Drew Brees. What's his future going forward? I see him on the sidelines in the second half with his helmet on, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks. But looking at that injury, I would not be surprised if Drew Brees doesn't have a collarbone injury. I'm just being serious. I know he was grabbing at his rib area. I don't think it was his rib. I think it was his collarbone. The way that guy slammed down and came down on the side of him, the way that he did, would not surprise me if there was a collarbone injury. And looking at Drew Brees' expression on the sidelines, it looked like he wanted to cry, to be honest with you, man. So I don't think the news is all that positive. The Saints, they don't really disclose any injuries, but would not surprise me at all, man. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm reading that completely wrong. But Jameis Winston did come into the game. He did some good things. He did some not so good things. First off, I just want to say this to everybody out there that's trying to grade Jameis Winston on this game. First off, I feel like that's unfair to Jameis Winston because you have to understand how football is played. A person like Drew Brees gets 100% of the snaps for the exception of Wednesday at practice, okay? Drew Brees gets all of the snaps. Drew Brees gets all of the playing time in practice, okay? The most Jameis Winston does is scout team. That's it. He don't really do anything else. He don't go out there. Drew need a sip of Gatorade, and all of a sudden Jameis comes in. Nah, it don't work like that. So anybody around here judging Jameis Winston based on this game, I feel like that's unfair. It's the same thing that happened with Teddy Bridgewater when they played against the Los Angeles Rams. Go back and watch that game. Teddy didn't play well coming into that game, finishing up the game for Drew Brees. He didn't. Okay, so it wasn't until he actually started to become a starter, and that's when we start to see him kind of gradually become better. So I'm not going to judge Jameis Winston based on this game. I'm pretty sure Jameis didn't even think that he was probably going to come into this game, for the exception if the Saints just blow those guys out like they did Tampa. So I'm not going to judge him based on this game. As far as Taysom Hill is concerned, Taysom Hill is just doing what he does best. I think if anybody is thinking that Taysom Hill is just going to channel his inner Steve Young, his inner Joe Montana, I think that unless some really great things happen and he just completely turn a corner, I think Taysom Hill is who he is. I think the person that's going to go forward that the Saints are going to lean on if Drew Brees is out is going to be Jameis Winston. I think that Taysom is going to come into the game, do what he does best, which is the RPO stuff. But I feel like Jameis is going to be the guy that the Saints believe is going to help them win some football games. Jameis, he doesn't have good chemistry with those players. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect for him to go out there and throw the ball and these guys go out there and catch it, at a high rate. If he was out there doing that, then I'd be like, okay, but I can't blame him for this particular situation. I cannot. Let me go ahead and read some of the chat. Once again, I thank everybody for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast for the Saints victory. Bria says, I need a drink after this. Yeah, I mean, this was a tough game. This is one of those games as a fan. You're just glad that the Saints got the win and glad that, the defense was able to hold the lead. This was one of those games where you're just glad to get the heck up out of there. I'm upset because the 49ers are a dirty, cheap shot team. They took a dirty hit on Traquan Smith and Josh Hill. Man, look, the 49ers lost today, okay? All their Bush League antics wasn't enough for them to get the victory. So, Jameis, why did they put him in a game? He sold on the goal line. Why did they put him in a game? Because, I mean, the guy deserved to be in a game. I mean, a backup quarterback. And like I said, man, we can't judge people. Like, what? This is not the movies, folks. This ain't the movies where, all of a sudden, like Dennis Quaid on Any Given Sunday goes down and Steaming Willie Beeman, played by Jamie Foxx, comes in and just wows the crowd. Like, it don't work like that all the time, man. Unless you're talking about a seasoned veteran like a Fitzpatrick or something like that, it's very rare that you see a guy who didn't get no reps throughout the week just come out there balling, throwing 4 and 5 touchdowns. It don't work like that, man. There was a game plan that was set out by the New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees as the quarterback, and Drew Brees was supposed to be one that facilitated. Jameis Winston coming into the game after getting like no reps in practice at all, probably all scout team. The only thing he did was just become Nick Mullins or whatever. Like, he was the person that was doing Nick Mullins' tendencies as the quarterback. I feel like it's unfair. Okay, if you don't like Jameis Winston, fine. If you talk about he almost threw an interception, fine. If you talk about him throwing the pass behind Michael Thomas, fine. But, I mean, get a guy opportunity until I see, like, unless Drew Brees goes down and the Saints say, okay, we're going to give Jameis to start this game against the Falcons. And if Jameis goes out there and he stinks up the joint, then I can be like, okay, all right, well, okay, whatever. But I feel like a guy coming into the game in the second half who probably didn't even think he was going to play, I feel like that's wrong of us to judge a guy based on that. Because if we did it with the same type of logic as some people are doing right now, then we would have wrote off Teddy Bridgewater. And, so I say get a guy a chance, get a guy opportunity. We can't judge a person based on just a little small sample size. CJ should get the ball. Get the game ball. Yeah, man, he was all over the field. They couldn't stop him at all. Thank you. It don't work like that. Yeah. Ren, Kamara needs to be in talks for the MVP conversation, and our defense is starting to get their act together. Yeah, Ren, he definitely should be in the MVP conversation. I can't see anybody that just out here setting the world on fire, not even the great Patrick Mahomes, from the games that I've seen. Russell Wilson was in the conversation, but, I mean, he hasn't been playing his best. So, I mean, why not put him in the conversation for the exception of, they always want to try to find a quarterback somewhere. Would you trade for Fitz? Fitz who? Fitzgerald? Fitzpatrick? Who? Nah, neither one of them I would trade for. Not at all. Jared Poor says they just love attacking the Saints. That's why I was nervous. Well, I mean, this was a pretty clean game, all things considered, man. I mean, there was a pass interference. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Brandon Ayuk with that double move, he got Janoris Jenkins on that play, but Janoris Jenkins recovered, I mean, but besides that, man, they played pretty decent. And, they had about two deep balls, what I'm saying? One of them was batted down. Well, two of them was batted down. One was intercepted. Well, they had 4. One to Ayuk, which was a pass interference. The one that Marcus Williams broke up. So, I mean, you look at some of those plays, I mean, they did a pretty good job. I'm not going to complain about the secondary today. It was just, I've seen much worse. He was holding the cyber clipboard. Who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about? Bro, shout out to Marquez Callaway. Guy gave us 2 free possessions. Yep, definitely did. Marquez Callaway being Johnny on the spot twice. Should definitely be special teams player of the week. I really feel that way. He should be special teams player of the week after his performance today. Idris says that fumble by Taysom was heart-wrenching. Well, I tell you what, I was never really nervous in this game. I hate to say it like that. I was never really nervous. I mean, Nick Mullins looked like trash out there. I'm just being honest. Nick Mullins looked horrible. Like, he couldn't move the ball at all in the second half. So I wasn't concerned at all. Is Alvin Kamara playing like an MVP? Absolutely. I mean, he definitely the star of this offense right now. No doubt about that. Dang, this sucks about Drew Brees. He was playing out of his skull these last few games. Defense has gotten better and better every week. Yeah, trust and believe, man. If, in my honest opinion, if Drew Brees would have stayed in the game in the second half, the Saints probably would have blew out the 49ers. They probably would have blew him out. But, I mean, he hurt, and hopefully the only thing we can do right now is pray for the best. If the reps are fine like players, we see a lot more clean games. I don't know, man. Even at face mask on Deontay Harris, that was a late flag. The hit on Traquan Smith, that wasn't no flag. I don't understand it. Like, I really don't. Some of these flags that are thrown and not thrown are very weird to me. Chanel, thank you very much for the $1.99. Nice to have a Swearinger sighting. Yeah, it's not too bad when C.J. Gardner-Johnson was playing out his mind, and then his backup is DJ Swearinger. That's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad of a backup, in my opinion. I'd be nervous when Deontay Harris received the punt. It wasn't one of his best special teams performances by no stretch. I mean, I know he had that big punt return, a kick return, it put the Saints in the red zone, but it definitely wasn't his best showing, in the Saints uniform. I mean, I was just wondering. It wasn't even just him. I'm just wondering, was that some like Orville Redenbacher butter on the on a ball or something like that? Was it some baby all Johnson & Johnson or something? Like it seemed like the ball was just so slippery. Even that pass that Drew Brees threw to Alvin Kamara for a touchdown, that was a slippery football. Taysom Hill was a slippery football. Deontay Harris, slippery football. For the 49ers, James, slippery football. I'm like, what the heck is going on here, man? Like, somebody put some goose grease on the ball or something? Like, what the heck is going on here? But, I mean, this was one of those, it was a very sloppy game, man. Like, this is one of those games where you're just glad the Saints got the victory because, man, if they would have played probably anybody else, I don't know what the outcome would have been. But luckily, they ran into a 49ers team that was kind of teetering a tad bit. My big brother EJ says the only team hotter than the Saints right now is the Cardinals. D-Hop made the catch of the year a while ago. I don't know about that. The Cardinals, they lost last week to the Dolphins. I mean, they were able to squeak out a victory today. They're an exciting team to watch. Okay, I'll give them that, but I wouldn't say they're the hottest team in the league. That's a little bit of a stretch there, but I just think that, you got to like Kyler Murray. Hopkins, I mean, dude had defender draped all up on him, on that Hail Mary. He caught it. I mean, the Cardinals are an exciting team to watch, no doubt about that. But, I mean, I question a lot of things about that team as a whole. TJ's Nerds, thank you very much for the $2. We was calm for this one. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely was calm. Like I never was like nervous about this game. I don't know, man. I guess you can say I was a little bit arrogant when it came to this game. I just didn't feel like the 49ers could beat the Saints in this matchup. I think that they could have done some great things, which they did for the most part. They did what they could do with what they had, but I never thought the Saints were in any type of trouble, even when they went down 10-0. Kenterio, thank you very much for the $2.99, man. I appreciate that. It was very sloppy, TJ. Bless God for the win. Yeah, it was sloppy, but got the win. Winston has needs to get in a lot of practice this week. Yeah, like I said, if he gets into practice, he practiced with the first team. He works on some of the tendencies of these receivers after practice or something like that. Get a game plan going. If Drew can't go, and yeah, man, like then we can see what he got. Then we can see what he got. How you feel about the Packers? The Packers are suspect like they always been. Very little defense. They got a good pass rush that shows up, when they need it. But I'm not really scared of the Packers. I feel like if the Saints played the Packers again, this time the outcome would be completely different. No doubt about that. Kimberly Michelle, I'm hearing ribs. Yeah, they're saying it's a rib injury, but like I said, man, I don't know. I'm telling you, the way that guy landed on him, it didn't seem like he landed on his ribs. It seemed like he landed on his collarbone on the left side. So, like I said, I hope that it's the ribs. That's probably the best case scenario. Maybe he missed a couple games. Hopefully they just bruised and not cracked or anything like that. But let's just go ahead and just pray for the best. Emmanuel Sanders, thank you very much for the $2. Said, them punk Niners ain't nothing without me. Yeah, man. I mean, they're depleted at the receiver position. I'll tell you that. But I tell you, the future is bright for the San Francisco 49ers. No doubt about that. Brandon Ayuk, that boy is the truth. And I don't know if some of y'all seen some of my off-season shows when I was talking about the Saints drafting the guy. He was a guy that I brought up. That the Saints need to draft. And as y'all can see, man, little dude got some hands and he got some speed on him too, man. So the future is bright, for their wide receiver core. You line him up with Deebo Samuels and maybe you add another wide receiver via free agency. I think they'll be okay. Hopefully Drew Brees is not out or only out one game. And I think he's gonna miss a game. I'm just be honest with you. If he's out for a whole entire game, like something seriously got to be wrong with Drew. Like for him to be taken out of the game like that. So I don't know how much time he gonna miss. Hopefully we can pray for the best. Like I said, if it's a collarbone, folks, if it's a collarbone, man, it's gonna be rough. You probably won't be seeing Drew Brees for at least 6 to 8 weeks. So let's just hope that's not the case. If it's bruised or cracked ribs, you'll probably see him missing about 3 or 4 games, something like that. Depends on the severity of the rib injury. Banged up, but we're going to get all our guys back soon. Yeah, man. I mean, we had all our guys back today. And then everybody went down. First it was Pete, but he came back into the game. Then it was, Traquan, and then Drew, and then Armstead went down for a little bit, and then Lattimore went down, and I'm like, C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down. I'm like, God, man, like, woo, man. Look, I mean, man, look, all you had to do was just key to the MASH theme music around this thing. D.H. Gates Shoes, thank you very much for the 99 cents. I appreciate that. Quine got some action. Yeah. I mean, he did a pretty good job, man. He stopped the run a couple of times, set the edge, a couple of times, so the more he gets acclimated to the defense, the better he'll become. Jared says, for Coach Payton to fuss with Brees, it's a significant injury. Get Winston ready. Deep balls will be alive again. Look, I don't know about how long Drew Brees is gonna be out, but let's not make any qualms about this. You know what I'm saying? Like Drew Brees makes the Saints better. You know what I'm saying? He puts them in the best position to win. Jameis can probably, sustain some, sustain a couple games, while Drew get better. But look, if we talking about going into the playoffs with Jameis Winston, nah, I don't see that happening, man. I don't know about that. Traquan was the scariest, though. Yeah, man. I mean, trust and believe Jimmy Ward about to get a nice little fine from the league. And like I said, he wouldn't have finished that game if it was me. Shamika, he was pointing at his ribs on the sidelines. Yeah, he was pointing at, he was pointing at his ribs. I don't know, man. The way he was looking on the sidelines, it looked like he was about to cry on the sidelines. I don't know. Like, if you have some bruised ribs or cracked ribs or something like that, like, I don't see why you would be upset about that. I'm telling you, like, I know he was pointing at, he probably was pointing underneath there. You know what I'm saying? I know I seen he grab like underneath there, but I'm telling you, like, I'll tell you right now, like, the way that guy landed on him, he didn't land on. I didn't see him land on his ribs. The only thing that I could see, if we're talking about ribs, if the impact, like, I know he got pushed into like one of his offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and then the defender tackled him, and he tackled him like on the side, like on his left side. He tackled him, and all of a sudden, like, all the guy weight like went over there, and I'm like, the way he went, like, he didn't grab his ribs. He didn't grab at his ribs. He grabbed at his shoulder. And I'm telling you, like, he might have been pointing to his ribs, but if you go back and look at that, you'll see, like, that guy landed on his left side. Kirkland says, I think Anzalone is done in New Orleans after this year. Bond looking hungry on special teams, and Quine still has a couple of years left on his deal. The writing's on the wall. Yeah, not to mention, man, I ain't really see much of Anzalone in this game. Let's see. He landed on his ribs. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see about that. I'm hoping it's a rib injury, but I don't know. I don't see what it. Man, hopefully I'm wrong. What's up with the Saints playing defense this year? Well, I ain't got no problem with that at all. Annie, thank you very much for the $5. Says, I hope it's no shoulder injury. We need Drew to read those defenses. Jameis, all right, but we need Drew. Yeah, nobody can dissect the way. See, that's the thing. That's the difference. Gabriel, thank you very much for the $5. That's the difference, though. When you have a guy out there that can read defenses, when he can understand defensive tendencies, and versus a guy who you tell him what the play is and he's looking for that guy, like Drew Brees can put guys in position to succeed. Like, he might see like one play where, maybe he's seen his receiver like, wide open or something like that, and he might go right back to the play. You know what I'm saying? And probably switch the receiver from one side to another if the other, if he feels like the offense will have an advantage going to that side. For example, I think it was that game. Was it against Tampa? But it was like one play where he threw the ball behind Jared Cook, and then he switched Jared Cook from the right to the left and went to the same play, threw the pass, and Jared Cook wide open for a touchdown. You can't get that, that type of production out of every quarterback. The Wall, thank you very much for $2. Why is half the Saints defense written on me? I don't know why. I don't know why the writing is on the wall, but I hope they play as well as they have over the last couple of games. DLP 2600 says, what happened to Cam Jordan? He was getting some pressure on the quarterback, man. I mean, Nick Mullins was just rolling out of the pocket. They had like one play where Cam Jordan was right there, but Nick Mullins just rolled out of the pocket, got away from the rush. So, I mean, but Cam Jordan, he's not having a season that we just used to seeing him have. But I mean, that just goes with the fact that, once you get older and stuff like that, not to mention he had an off-season surgery, which I feel like probably has him not at 100%. And it's not mentioned, man, Father Time is undefeated. What are you, about 30, 31 years old? So, I mean, when you start to get up there in them 30s and stuff like that, man, the production starts to drop. But that's why you got some of these younger guys on the team, like the Davenports, like the Hendricksons, like the Dave Ayamadas, these guys that can come in and, and make up for, Cam Jordan. And they have been doing a really good job. Drew already has a flap jacket on in the game. Yeah, he do. I mean, most quarterbacks do wear those anyway. If they don't, they're not very smart. I wouldn't recommend no quarterback to not wear, a flag jacket. he's getting the double teams or the chip blocks. Yeah, but that's why these other guys eating. Quan will cost some cheese next season. Not necessarily, Charles. So when a team trades for another player, that player, that team takes over that player's contract. So if I think he signed maybe like a 3-year deal or something like that with the 49ers, a 5-year deal, I can't remember, but once that trade is valid, then the Saints take over that particular contract. So he's with the Saints as long as that contract is still there. You know what I'm saying? So the Saints will have him next season. It's kind of similar to like what Janoris Jenkins or whatever. Well, Janoris Jenkins, it was a little bit different because the Giants released him, but I think by the Saints picking him up, they, and him staying on their roster, they picked up his contract or whatever like that, but they had to stretch it out over the course of a couple years, which he agreed to do so. So, but the Saints, they take on Quan Alexander's contract. He came in a game with a right shoulder injury. The hit made it worse. Yeah, that's a good point. That's something we got to remember too. We definitely got to remember that. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and I can't be on long. Who That Nation? I actually have to go to work tonight. But I will take a few calls. Very very few calls, maybe like 2 or 3. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it up, folks. But I apologize. I can't really talk that long. But once again, I gotta go to work. But let me go ahead and read some stats here before I open up the phone lines. Drew Brees was 8 of 13 for 76 yards and a touchdown before he left the game. Jameis Winston, 6 of 10, 63 yards. Latavius Murray, who ran really hard, especially late in the game, he had 9 carries for 57 yards. Taysom Hill, 8 carries, 45 yards. Kamara, 8 carries for 15 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 7 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Harris, 4 catches for 24 yards. Michael Thomas, 2 catches, 27 yards. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 catch, 5 yards. Okay, so the offense of the New Orleans Saints today, some very unusual suspects, in this game, especially like people like Michael Thomas wasn't really a factor. Emmanuel Sanders wasn't really a factor. Jared Cook wasn't really a factor. I felt like they probably would have been if Drew Brees would have stayed in the game, but that goes to show you that the Saints have a lot of weapons on their team, guys that can get involved as outside of those particular names. And when that happens, it's always a plus. It's a plus that happened. But let's go ahead and look at some of the defensive guys, of the New Orleans Saints. Some of those unsung heroes here. Demario Davis had 12 tackles, 8 solos, 1 sack. Marcus Williams, 9 tackles, 4 solos. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, 8 total tackles, 6 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Lattimore, 5 tackles. Let's see, anybody else on the list? The Saints had 2 sacks. Both of them came, one came from Gardner-Johnson. The other came from Demario Davis. We know that Malcolm Jenkins and Patrick Robinson, they both had interceptions. So I would say that the player of the game, if I'm picking one, is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Outstanding job by C.J. Handling his business, doing what he needs to do in order to make sure that the defense is clicking on all cylinders, followed by Davion Yamada, and then Demario Davis would be third for me. Okay, so I'm opening up the line right now. Like I said, I'm only going to take a few phone calls, and then we're going to have to wrap it up, folks. And I'll make sure that on tomorrow morning, we're going to be having a show again. So if I don't get to you tonight, if you don't get your phone call tonight, you can call in tomorrow morning on the morning show. Okay, so we're going to go to Who That David.
What's going on, TJ, man?
What's going on, man? What about the game?
All right, look, I know you said you had to work tonight, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Mm-hmm. Whatever respect I had for Kyle Shanahan and this 49ers team just went out the window. Yeah. Like, that's an absolutely unacceptable playing. We got two concussions. Mm-hmm. 2 concussions? That's 3 in total over the last 2 meetings. You can't, there's something going on. Either I'm at the point to where I believe Kyle Shanahan has a vendetta against the Saints team because of his his tenure down with the Atlanta Falcons and how they pretty much tormented him during his entire tenure there. That's where I'm at.
Right.
Because like you can't have that. And then you have additional injuries. I'm happy that Andrews Pete and Teron Armstead escaped some injuries themselves because they came back in the game.
Right.
But like come on, Kyle. Come on, you got to coach you guys. That's absolutely unacceptable. And I hope the Who Dat Nation lets him have an earful. He deserves whatever he comes his way from this Saints fan base. And I will not hold anybody back because I'm definitely going to be airing out my grievances on a Who Dat Chatline podcast shortly after here. Yeah. Now, as far as what I was saying overall for the game, I came on here earlier and I said the keys to this game to win against 49ers is going to be the secondary and special teams. Lo and behold, those two things were the factors. The first quarter, the secondary, they were suspect, but I give them credit where it's due. The Saints secondary, they made the correct adjustment to the second quarter, and they continued on into the second half. Special teams came alive for the second week in a row. Like you said, I know. Like some good guys had some dry spells over some number of weeks, but Jared Cook's been looking kind of suspect. I hope that's not the case against Atlanta Falcons, the hardest team to play us ever. Deontay Harris looked a little suspect. You alluded to a slippery ball, maybe. I'm officially going to dub that Slippery Gate. Just saying, that's just me, though. Slippery Gate, official hashtag. But that's all I got for right now. I'll be covering the key matchups and whatnot on my podcast later this week, so I won't get into too much detail. But that's all I got for right now, TJ. I'll go ahead and get these other callers in.
All right, man. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much, man. And like I say, call back anytime, my friend.
You too.
All right, take care. Yeah, Who Dat Davis, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out the State of the Black and Gold podcast coming real soon. Quinn, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Yeah, man. What you thought about the game today?
You know, I think it was good. It was good for what it was, you know. Like I told you, I think, like I said, it could have been 30 to the 14, like I was saying, but, you know, it was 3 points short. But other than that, we did good, bro. I think, and with that Drew Brees situation, he's straight, bro. That's one of them situations where you get hit in your rib for real. You ever got hit? You ever play football? Ever got hit in your rib before?
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
I think he good. I think that's why he wanted to get in. But I feel like Sean Payton was being smart and was like, bro, I'm just gonna sit you out and you just wait, bro. We good. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no point in getting you hurt. And then with everybody else with them little injuries, if you really think about it, and be honest with yourself, everybody who got injured or half injured today, they always get injured every week. Think about it. It's the same person falling on the ground every week. Lattimore get out every week, come back the next week. Got them Gardner, all of them, really, everybody who got injured today. So don't worry about all that injury stuff. That's nothing. We do that every time. But it was a good game, though. We did good. We could have. The only thing we gotta fix is we gotta fix up James just in case if we don't have Drew, we gotta fix him up just a little bit more. But other than that, we good, man. Everybody did what they supposed to. Kamara once again showing off his thing. I really feel like this game plan was set up for the running game more than the passing anyway. Just based on how they took the game with it. It seemed like they wanted to go in there to run it more and give everybody else, just give it time. So by time next week come, we good. That's how I look at it. It seems like they just playing for next week, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think they did some good things, man. I'm just happy they got the win. You know?
Yeah, that's all I'm worried about.
All these different like key positions, especially at the quarterback position, and knowing how Drew Brees take up the majority of the snaps for them to be able to get the victory. That's all I cared about. I mean, I think all predictions and all that kind of stuff goes out of the window when Drew Brees went out the game. So, I mean, if you had this, because in my honest opinion, if Drew Brees probably would have stayed in this game probably wouldn't even been like it probably would have been a blowout. Yeah,
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. I did get mad at both of them 2 times when James could have hit Thomas in the end zone both of them 2 times, but you know.
That's chemistry, man. That's chemistry.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know what's going on, but you know.
They'll work on that, man.
Right, they'll work on that.
Once he get like a full week of practice in, and if Drew Brees can't go, if they get like a full week of practice and him getting acclimated and them probably staying at the practice trying to be on the same page. I think that, next time they probably, go to that play, it probably will be a touchdown. But something that, that was told to me, shouts out to my guy, Rod Walker. They said that after that play, Sean Payton was yelling at Michael Thomas on the sideline. So I don't know what the heck that was about. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the heck was going on with that. But apparently he wasn't happy with Michael Thomas, the route that he ran on that play. So I guess got to stay tuned for that one. But Quinn, appreciate it, man. Appreciate that phone call, man.
All right, brother.
Take it easy. I'm going to move on to Jerry Poor. Jerry, what's going on, man?
What's going on,
Jerry? Can you hear me? Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah.
Whew.
What you thought about the game, Jerry?
Man, I need a drink after this game, bro. I need everything that you got. Lord have mercy. But first off, I ain't gonna be on here too long, GJ. I understand, but I want to place a arrest warrant for the 49ers for what they did, man. They're just flat out dirty, man.
Yeah.
You saw that hit what Ward did to Smith. It took him out the game. And then Street tried to take Breeze out the game. I'm like, dude, y'all just dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of on the fence with that Drew Brees said. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they said it was roughing. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that Traquan Smith hit that was Bush League. That's something I feel like, somebody need to get suspended over. Some fines need to be put out. Like that. There's no room for that. Like, he intentionally, like he lunged at this guy. You know what I'm saying? At his head in order to take him out of the game. And when you're doing stuff like that, like, I have absolutely no respect for you or your fan base and what y'all talking about. And people will go back, Jerry, they start talking about, well, what about Bountygate, this, that, and the third? I want people to understand this, okay? They had a whole investigation about the Saints, but let's not pretend like teams don't do that stuff all the time. Like, the only difference is the Saints got caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest about this. Like, all these different teams do these different things to make sure that they have a competitive edge. And then, like, for a person to say that, oh, man, like, come on, give me a break, man. All teams do that. But the Saints, you know what I'm saying, they paid their dues and stuff like that. They did what they were supposed to do. That was about daggone 10 years ago. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? The only person that's still there is Drew Brees and Thomas Morstead and Sean Payton. So, I don't know, man. There's no room for that kind of stuff.
And Malcolm Jenkins. Yeah, don't forget Malcolm Jenkins, too.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins was there,
But TJ, But I got a question for you, TJ. What you think about that Zach Bond hit in the kickoff, bro? God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't see the hit. I heard about it. You know what I'm saying? I heard about it. I think I seen a replay of the hit. I didn't see it in real time. I was actually washing dishes at that time. My wife asked me to wash the dishes and clean the kitchen up, so I got to do that. But I was watching it on my phone at the time. So I heard them talking about it, and I seen a replay, but it looked like it was a big hit, man. And, that's the type of stuff you want to see, man. You see Adam Troutman last week. Yeah. You see Adam Troutman making plays. He was a third-round pick. Zach Bond making plays. So that's what you want to see for the future.
Yep, but I gotta give the game ball to the defense and the special team, especially Marquez Callaway with those two muff pumps recoveries.
Yeah. Right.
Because that dude saved us, bro.
Yeah, he did.
So if I gotta give the game ball, gotta give it to Marquez Callaway, and I gotta give it to the Saint defense for those two interceptions. One by Jenkins, the other one by Robinson. Especially with Robinson, that closed out the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, especially him coming in.
Actually go to the defense and the special teams.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think this was a great defensive performance, and I think there was. I give it a B. I give it a B- for the special teams. Okay, I give it a B-, not because of Callaway, but there was some muff punch on Deontay Harris. So I'm just gonna give it a B- on that. But Jared, thank you so much for the call, man. I appreciate it.
I just anytime, man. I just give him a B, so that we'll just leave it like that. But,
okay, sounds good.
But appreciate you having me on, TJ.
All right, take care, man. We're gonna move on to Josh, man. Josh, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, TJ? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. What you thought about the game?
To be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot to add to the game itself. It went pretty much the exact way I expected it to go. Mm-hmm. I expected, without the injuries, obviously. Yeah. But, I expected it to be like a dirty win just because of the 49ers and how aggressive they play and stuff like that.
Right.
So this game pretty much was almost exactly what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it would have been much different even if Drew Brees had been in there. I think the score would have pretty much been the same. Just because of the style of play versus the style of play that we're dealing with.
Right.
Saw a couple of people on Twitter kind of giving Jameis Winston some crap.
Right.
And Jameis will be all right for a couple of weeks. I mean, it's his first time in there after a while.
Right.
He's mega talented. He's going to throw some interceptions on us over a couple of weeks, but he's going to get us a lot more touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he'll take care of us until Drew gets back, and I've got no issues with that.
Right.
But I wanted to bring up something and ask you about something that I thought of today.
Mm-hmm.
That could affect the Saints. This is obviously Drew's last season.
Right.
And the Saints have a real shot at the Super Bowl. I mean, pretty much just the Packers and Seahawks stand in their way.
Mm-hmm.
But your mayor is a leftist piece of garbage who loves to use the pandemic to steal people's freedoms and control what people do. And I will not put it past her to shut the Saints season down at some point if the COVID count gets past a certain point and take this Super Bowl opportunity away from Drew Brees and away from the Saints. So do you think that that's possible? And even if she tries that, do you think the fans can get together and pretty much demand that she not do that? Because that's kind of what I'm worried about. Because your mayor, I mean, she's a control freak. So what do you think about all that? That's what I would want to ask you.
Josh, I mean, I don't live in New Orleans anymore. But as a Saints fan, I would have to say, if this pandemic continuously go the way that it's been going, the numbers have been spiking and stuff like that. You gotta do what's best. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what's best for the people, regardless of how we feel about COVID, as if it's just a ploy or a hoax or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you feel about it. The fact is, people are dying because of this. You know what I'm saying? There are cases out here that people are talking about, and you got to do what's best for the people. You can't just be thinking about. If it was me selfishly, you know what I'm saying, I would say, man, pack the Superdome. But I can't look at it from that particular standpoint because people have died because of this, man. I've known personally, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. I've seen somebody die of COVID. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. So for me personally, I feel like it's something serious. So if they continue, the numbers continue to spike, I feel like you got to do what's best for the city. But I don't feel like you need to be doing this for leverage or something like that, or trying to control the city, or just being power hungry. If you're doing something like that, then I can't get down with that. But you got to do what's best for the city. What do you think the
chances of this are? What do you think the chances the Saints season gets shut down are?
I don't see that happening at all. 0%. 0% unless the NFL completely shuts it down. And I must say, you know what I'm saying, the NFL, unless they hiding some numbers, they have been doing a really good job at putting these guys in, you know what I'm saying, taking care of these guys, getting testing, you know what I'm saying, giving these guys the technology that they need in order for them to stay distant. You have cases and stuff like that, but it's one or two players on the team. It's not like a whole team like college football, which me personally, that's who I feel like shouldn't have had a season, because you got those young kids out there playing for absolutely nothing, for free. Okay, it's different when you got Michael Thomas out there playing for $20 million, you know what I'm saying? It's different. Yeah. At least there's an alternative, you know what I'm saying? There's some type of compensation, but what are these college players getting? You know what I'm saying? What do they get from this? So, but I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening, Josh, unless the whole entire season like just get completely scrapped, which I don't see that happen. But now she can probably control the numbers of how many people can actually come to the game. You know what I'm saying? But if it gets out of control to a point where the Saints feel like it's just being absolutely ridiculous, I can see them actually calling up the mayor of Baton Rouge, where they're allowing LSU, to host like 25,000 people at the game, and I can see the Saints probably playing in a postseason in Baton Rouge. So there's always an alternative, man. If the Saints not liking what Mayor Cantrell is doing, but you got to do what's best for the people, man, regardless to how we feel about it. That's my opinion.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, TJ. I'll let you do or take another call or get out of here or whatever you're going to do. But I just wanted to get your take on that because that's what I was thinking about today with all this COVID news coming out the last couple of days. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, it's good to think about, man. But it's just one of those things, Josh. I mean, you got to kind of weigh things out. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand people
I'm
have
just
their opinions
tired of
about
government officials telling me what I should or shouldn't wear and trying to force it on me and all this. We're all adults. Let us make our own decisions about what we feel is safe. You know what I mean?
Right.
You and I are not children, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, their job is to make sure, like, to me, their job is to make sure that we're in the best position to live our lives. Now, let's just say, for example, if, they're not telling us that, let's just say they never told us about, wearing masks at all. Let's just talk about they just never told us about this, but then you start seeing, like, people dying at an alarming rate, and then you find out later that it could have been solved by wearing a mask or something like that. That could have probably helped it. Would you be mad?
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about them not telling us. I'm talking about them forcing it on us.
Right. Well,
and then putting you in jail where you're pretty much guaranteed to catch COVID because you've got a cellmate that you're 2 feet away from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not a perfect system, Josh. I mean, to me, it never will be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always going to have issues with the system, man, until we break down the system completely and start all over. We'll never have a perfect system, man. But, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
All right, take care. Yeah, man, we'll never have a perfect system. As long as we live, man, we're always going to have, like, some issues where somebody's going to agree one way and then somebody's going to agree the other way, but I mean, I don't know, man. I just want people to be safe. I love the Saints. I love the Superdome when it's rocking, people loud, crazy. I love that kind of stuff, but I don't want it to be at the expense of people's health. Like I said, I personally seen somebody lose their life of COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like I personally seen it, and I don't want to. Man, it's not a pretty sight to see, y'all. It's not at all. Chosen, what's going on, man?
What's going on, TJ? How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. What you thought about the game today?
The game was pretty good, man. It was a tough battle, which I know coming in, these guys got history. Not just from last year, but some playoff games a few years back. It's like it just seemed like the Saints and the 49ers had that the every blue moon rivalry, so it's pretty good. Right. Real quick though, TJ, chime in. I want to chime in on your last topic about the COVID situation. To everybody listening, man, it's serious. I just found out a good friend of mine, she's been diagnosed with it, and she has a little boy. She has a baby, and I just think about those situations. We may not understand the rules in place, like you said, it's not a perfect system, but we have to do our part. Until 100% vaccine or something is coming in, let's just wear our masks. Let's social distance. Let's keep staying home when we don't have to be out. Because I know, speaking from where I'm from, when we were supposed to be at home in Baton Rouge, it was like somebody told them to do the opposite. I mean, they had Plank Road and Airline looking like Crenshaw. You know what I'm saying? It was club. It was this thing called Plank Road, and it's like that's the name of the street. But every weekend, everybody, what you doing? Oh, I'm going on Plank Road. It was kind of like it was kind of like y'all Birdman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, at this time, so I just, but I just want everybody, man, y'all stay safe, man. Y'all make sure that y'all, we washing our hands, and we're adults. We know how to stay safe and stay clean. So COVID serious, y'all. Whether, like you said, whether it's a hoax or not, it's taking lives. So I'm not going to play with nothing like that. Anything I see somebody taking somebody's life, I'm going to take it serious. But off that, man, the game, I want to defend Jameis Winston, because I was on Twitter like everybody else.
Right.
And we say we know football, TJ, but do we really understand how football works? Because we can't come out and say, oh, Quan Alexander looked good in our defense, but we basing that off one route, like just one game with us. Yeah, he looked good tonight, but is this consistent? But we turn around and call Jameis trash. You know what I'm saying? But it's not enough to go off of. You can't give this man praise on one game and diminish what this guy did off one game. We got to call a spade a spade. Give Jameis a fair chance. We did the same thing with Teddy Bridgewater last year. Oh, he checked down Teddy. But as soon as that man gave us 5-0, the rest history, So we just got to be mindful of how we judge things. If I was to tell y'all to come on my job site and do what I do, knowing you have no training about it, and you only know what I'm telling you, and you do my job, and it don't come out, and I say, oh, you trash, you have no work ethic, you're going to look at it. The first thing you're going to say is, I don't do this. I haven't been trained. I ain't even been here long enough. So it's the same thing. Like, give Jameis a chance to get some snaps with the first team, get that chemistry with the guys, learn that playbook all the way. Because I'm pretty sure he ain't learned it all the way. Right. I'm pretty sure he still don't know those plays, man. And also, bro, I'm just overall happy with the dub. It was ugly, but what could you expect from us? It's an ugly game. Last week it was good, but I felt like we only played good last week because we heard the media. I don't feel like we came in taking this game as how we took that Bucks game, which is sad because we should approach every game like that Bucks game, feeling like we the underdog. That we got everything to lose even when we don't, because it don't take much for the Saints to get complacent, man. It really don't. It don't take much. It's the smallest thing, and we playing down a competition, but we pulled it off. And next week with these injuries, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe the defense will step up if Drew Brees was to have to go down. Knock on wood. I hope he's okay. But if Drew Brees have to miss games, maybe that'll make us run the ball more and make the defense mesh together, like an extra insurance policy. So I'm looking at the positives and the upside versus just the down, because this is a good football team. Sean Payton, I'm pretty sure he's going to put these guys in position to win what we don't have. And I think that was Quinn.
Right.
I think Quinn said, man, we ought to be used to these injuries. We know it's the same usual as people who go down. Lattimore, I wasn't surprised with Teron Armstead going down. I actually was like, oh, I'm surprised it didn't happen often, because these guys, they in the trenches so much, man. They doing the dirty work, man. So I'm looking forward to a good game next week. I'm happy this game, ended in our favor, but I just want us to clean up some things and, just take it one day at a time. Every game, approach it like it's, a playoff game. Approach it like you have nothing to lose, like you're down, like all against the mall. Because we see what it is. Drew Brees, we can't keep relying on that man. You see the man getting banged up. He wearing flak jackets, bulletproof vests, everything. the man trying, bro. So let's at least do our part. He gave us. Let's at least do our part, and let's at least send this man home, retirement, in one piece to his family. And hopefully with a championship ring to look at. But that's all I got, TJ, man. I appreciate you for, letting me chime in, man.
Chosen, appreciate that, man. Thanks for the call, man.
No problem, brother.
All right. We're going to go to Ashley. Ashley, what's going on?
What's up, TJ? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. What you thought about the game, Ash?
I thought it was a good game. Defense played really good. Special teams played really good. CJ Gone and DeMarco Davis, they played outside their mind today. Held us in the game. I don't really have nothing too bad to say. I mean, I don't really think we played down to our competition. I think we started off slow, but we started to pick it up. And then Drew Brees got hit, you know what I'm saying? So we had to play with what we had to play with and work with. Jameis, I think, he managed the game well, given the fact that he hasn't practiced with the first team at all. So, he managed the game really well. Taysom did his thing until he fumbled, but, defense still held us up. So I don't think we really played down. I just think that, unfortunately, we got hit at the wrong time, and it happens. I mean, it's football. It happens. You know what I'm saying? But we stepped up, next man up, and that's what football is all about.
Right. What do you think about Jameis, going forward? If the Saints have to go with Jameis, if Drew is out for a certain amount of time, what do you expect him to play like as a quarterback of the Saints?
I think if he gets some more time in with the first team offense, I think he'll be okay. Getting the timing down, because our offense is all about timing. That's what they're used to. Mm-hmm. So I think if they get some more with them in with the offensive player, it get a whole lot better. I would like to see Jared Cook more involved. Like these last few weeks haven't really been. I don't say he haven't been involved, but he hasn't really been catching like I've been expecting him to catch.
Right.
So I want to see him, more into the game. I wish we would have ran the ball a little bit more earlier.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we was throwing so much, but I want Sean Payton to just start opening up the running game a little bit more. And start using that play action a little bit more. But I think once Jameis get more acclimated with the first team offense, and I hope it's not too long, but if it has to be, then we get that timing down and he just control those turnovers, those interceptions, because he's a really good quarterback. Like he can get it down the field.
Right.
He just gotta make sure he's not trying to do too much and overdo things and turn himself into turnovers. And our offensive line just gotta hold up a little bit more. I mean, I know we got some young guys on there like Louise, who's still trying to get acclimated to how to play on the line of his first year.
Right.
But I think we'll be all right. I think we will be all right. Defense, like I said, defense is stepping up a little bit more. Hopefully it continues. I don't want them to eat the cheese too much, but hopefully it continues these last two weeks. They've been holding it down.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah,
we're gonna be good. And as far as the whole COVID thing, I know a lot of people got their ups and downs with Kentrell, but I think she's really doing a real good job in the city, being in the city. At the end of the day, she all about trying to keep everybody safe, and everybody might not like it because we're a party city and we all about the Saints and want to be in that dome. Right. At the end of the day, like I done lost a lot of people to this COVID thing, and I didn't see it firsthand this as well. And at the end of the day, I'm all about being safe and being a school teacher and being inside the building and watching some of these teachers and these kids get it. It's just all about being safe. And the first part is to get these kids back in the building safely. Right. So if that means, shutting down some things and shutting down some of the things that the city used to doing to get our first parties back, then that's what it is, and we can't be mad about that.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Ash. But I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do, especially when you're being a teacher, and educating our children. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, TJ. Appreciate you, baby.
Take care. And shouts out to Ashley. We need our school teachers out here. Definitely. Long story short, we 7-2, folks. The Saints won today. Wasn't the best game in the world, but I have to say this. Just thinking about this game, I hear like the term playing down to our competition. The 49ers are a really good football team, and I understand they had some injuries and stuff like that. They had some injuries, and I get it. And we expect like the Saints to go up here and steamroll those guys, but that is a very good, well-coached football team. These guys were in a Super Bowl last year. Like, we can't forget that, folks. These guys were in the Super Bowl. Now, they lost, but they were in the Super Bowl. So, I want to say, like, them playing down, we weren't not playing down our competition. I mean, the 49ers are a good football team. And just like when the Saints went down, at the cornerback position, when they went down at the wide receiver position, Sean Payton put them in a position to succeed. Kyle Shanahan has a tendency of doing the same exact thing. I apologize. I'm not going to be taking any more calls for the rest of the night. We're going to go ahead and end the show. But my final thoughts as far as with the New Orleans Saints is simple. We lost some people along the way as far as with the injuries. Hopefully they're not too serious. We'll find out more about that tomorrow. We'll find more about, as the weeks go by. But I like what I saw defensively out of the New Orleans Saints. They played well. I mean, way more disciplined. The tackling was really good. They were doing a really good job at getting Nick Mullins off his spot. They're going up against the Atlanta Falcons next week, man. And we all know that this is a fierce rivalry. The Saints and the Falcons do not like each other. We all know that the Falcons, as down as they've been this season, we know that these guys play really tough. And it seems like they're playing really inspired football because they want to keep Raheem Morris as their head coach. So the Saints better be ready to play. And we don't know if it's going to be Drew Brees or Jameis Winston, but I have a lot of confidence in Sean Payton and his coaching staff to get whoever quarterback that they're going to have as a starter ready in order to take on the Atlanta Falcons. I'm looking forward to talking to you all later on in the week about that game. And I want to say thank you very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for all those that called in, that chimed in the comments, the ones that donated. Thank you all so much. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. And you can check it out on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. You all take care. Have a good night. We're 7-2. All I got to say is, who that?